gals ever wonder what to do with the candle once it burns down into like a little crusty nub? You guys are like, yeah. Well, today, candle expert Scott Haag is here to show us a simple way to recycle them into brand new candles. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get down to business.
We gotta go. So what we're gonna do is make this candle here, right? And we're gonna try to do it as inexpensively as possible so no one really has to buy too much stuff.
Okay, cool. So we start with like
collecting our wax.
Scrapings. This
right.
looks like what my nightstand looks like after the candle overflows and stuff.
Nice, and hopefully it picks off as well, and you can put it in a bag. So just collect these pillar candle waxes, freestanding waxes, and try not to use ones from this family of container waxes when you're melting these things together. Use all one type.
What'll happen if you mix like this kind of wax?
Well, this is too soft. It'll probably melt all over the place and cause a mess. So we're going to stick with this kind of wax for now, which we have already melted in this pot. Okay,
and what do you do about like the wicks? Like, how would you get the wicks out, like if you melt it all down? Just pull it right out. Okay, cool.
Like that, or trim it with a scissor. Get as much debris out of there before, as soon as possible.
Okay, cool.
So what I need you to do to get this whole thing going is we're going to have you
spray it. I knew you were going to.
Well, you can spray it first if you like, and then pretty good. Give it some extra. That's just a vegetable spray, cooking spray, plain, no butter, garlic, nothing like that.
And why am I spraying the inside of the cup?
To release the mold when it's done.
Okay.
Or the candle when it's done.
Okay, cool.
And you need to make a hole in the bottom.
Okay, and
using any sharp instrument. I like to use this nail.
Okay, cool.
Easy to find around the house. Big enough so that you can put your wick through there. And the wick comes in different kinds. You want to buy a wick that's not cord or has wire inside of it. That's what's used inside of these container candles. Yeah, it'll burn too fast for that kind of thing.
Okay.
So this is the hole in. Right. So while you thread that through there, and then you'll need to tie it off. We also cut up some coat hanger into little pieces. You can also use chopsticks, pencils, or whatever. You're going to put it across the top and then tie that that string on there.
Pull this through and then tie the string. And now, what else could you use?
Like seal it up.
If you don't have yogurt cups at home, like, can you use Campbell's soup cans? Or?
No. Well, I would stick to anything that's going to come out quite easy. Nothing that has ridges or flutes in it or variations. These are nice because they're fluted this way. Pringles cans, if you trim off the little rim on the top, you might have to also peel those away. Anything that you don't care too much about for your first few tries, and then you can go and buy some real molds.
And then start a candle business.
That's right. Get on with it. So while you're doing that, I'm going to show you that in this
now, what is this contraption?
We got a double boiling system, and if you don't know what that is, it's one pan with water and another pan with your wax.
Okay.
You just don't want to put the wax directly on the heat to melt it because it's too much and it could catch on fire. That's our only real problem in this whole thing. So don't ever do that.
Okay.
So take two pans, one that you're going to dedicate. This could also be like a coffee can that you're going to dip into, something like that.
Okay, and now
melt the wax.
I pulled the string through and
you need to seal it up.
Seal up the bottom. And why am I putting sealer on the bottom?
The sealer keeps the wax from coming out the bottom. It holds the wick taut in place. You're going to keep it pretty centered inside of the mold.
Okay.
This is window caulking that you can buy at the hardware store called Mortite. And that's one name brand. There's other name brands. This works good.
So let's start.
Okay.
I've got it all sealed up.
The wax is melted. I've got a candy thermometer in here, about $5 from your local hardware store, or I mean cooking store. And when the wax is melted, you're going to pour it in here. But first, we're going to jazz up. We used white wax. And I have these color chips. They also come in different variations. And we've got some fragrance that you chose earlier, right?
Okay, and how many times can you recycle this? Like after I make this candle, burn it down, can I just toss it back in the pot and keep?
You know, it starts breaking down. The structure of that wax, starts to break down.
I want to use the same candle like 100 times.
So those two go in there. We're going to take this off.
Yay. Can I pour the fragrance in?
Yep, you can do that now. I'll start stirring. You really don't want to get this wax above 200 degrees. If it's below, it's okay. It's just going to have a little bit of a texture to the surface.
And if it gets too high, what happens? It'll just burn?
Yeah, you can start melting this. I mean, this is pretty heat-proof because they make yogurt in it and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But that smells good.
Okay, yeah, it really does. Wow. And
all right.
So can I pour it in?
Yep, please do.
Okay, cool.
Now, I suggest you do it like in a tray just in case we have a leak.
Okay, yeah, I might not have sealed it too well.
Here, let me just get that trimmed off. Trim off the bottom.
Now, what kind of fragrance did we use? Did we just use like perfume like Chanel No. 5, just tossed in?
Never use anything with alcohol. That's a good good point. If you're going to buy fragrances, first when you're doing this, try candle making fragrances at craft stores that are specifically for this. Then you can move on to essential oils, but never anything with alcohol base in it, like colognes or something you don't even know what's in it.
Okay, cool. So
that
now
goes
that
back
I have,
in here.
this goes back in the pot.
And generally you can turn this off. We're going to leave it on for the display because at
now
this point,
I poured it in.
Right.
What do we do now?
Let it set.
Let it sit for how long?
About an hour.
Okay, and then we get
the next step. Right.
So this is it after it's cool.
This is one that's been sitting, and we poked the holes after 1 hour, and then it sat a little bit longer, so it completely shrinks up. There's a hole inside for more wax.
Okay, so we use the chopsticks, we poke the hole to get air out, and now we pour more wax inside.
Exactly.
Okay.
You want to wipe off the
bottom
thing along the way.
Okay. So now we pour in more wax.
And just be careful not to pour it up over the line that you've poured the first time.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now we take this, and what do we do with it?
And this is pretty quick. This will be done, you know, in an hour.
Okay, so then in an hour...
Because that wax is sat overnight, I'm sorry.
Okay,
that wax in that mold, yeah.
Cool, so in an hour we have this.
Completely cooled off. It should feel cool to the touch.
It's cool, so now how do we get it out?
Take the bottom sealant off.
If I can with these long nails.
Do you want me to give you a hand there?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Claws aren't good for taking sealant off. Okay.
Take this off, and there's your wick. And then be careful because it might come out fast. There you go.
Oh, cool. Cool, excellent. Wow. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And if you didn't catch all the candle making instructions, they're posted for you guys on trackers.net. And speaking of trackers.net, if you want to play the game show, log on and you'll have a chance to be a cyber sister and play along with today's Clued In contestants. So stay with us. Thank you.